Hey guys, MeLikeBigBoom here, and welcome to Unturned 3.14.10. This week's update adds some awesome changes to the inventory system as well as the item context menu, and I think you guys are gonna love it, so let's get right into it. And there are basically two major aspects added in this week's update, one of which is a complete overhaul of something that we've had since the beginning of Unturned, and another is a cool little addition that doesn't really affect us experienced players that much, but still is something super interesting. You might be able to tell what it is by reading these crates. There are now item rarities. Now every single item in the game, whether it is a can of beans or a shadow stalker, it all has rarity applied to it. So when you are scavenging out in the world, you almost have a sensation of playing like an RPG game. And when you find something super rare, you really feel like you found something awesome, which is pretty cool. Now there are 5 rarity levels from left to right: common, uncommon, rare, epic, and legendary, with the gray, green, blue, purple, and pink colors respectively. Items that you can expect to be common are things like food, eggs, granola bars, stuff like that. Some super simple stuff, kind of stuff that you consider junk, to be honest. That is going to be your common stuff. Uncommon stuff is stuff that's useful to you and you find quite often: civilian ammo boxes, blowtorches, gas, stuff of that sort, and useful for you and you find it pretty often. Rare stuff is where you begin to find guns, like the Sniperskaya, or smaller pistols like the Krisk Wreck and Avenger, as well as some basic melee weapons. Stuff like that you'll be able to find in the rare category. As you move on to epic weapons, this is where you find some high tier weapons like Dragon Fangs and Maple Strikes. The regular military magazines are considered rare items, but the military drum magazines are considered epic items. And lastly, over in the legendary item is where you find those insane weapons like the Shadow Stalker and the rocket launcher. These are super rare and very useful weapons, and those are in the legendary category. The way that you can tell that an item is a certain rarity is by hovering over it, and you notice that it has a border of pink, in this case for it being legendary. Also, the name will be pink, and when you right click it, you'll be greeted with a new context menu, which I'll get into in a little bit, but it also has pink text, and it also, well, tells you right there. Now this is the new context menu. It is pretty sweet. It displays the item icon nice and big for you to see. You can also choose to drop and salvage right here, but also more importantly, if you right click something like a magazine over here on Epic, you can choose to refill it right there without having to go into the crafting menu, navigate to the bullets section, scrolling down, and stuff like that. So if you do have a magazine that does have bullets out of it and you do have the sufficient bullets to refill it, you'll be able to right click it, click refill, and then refill it right there. You'll be able to do it super quickly and stuff like that. You also might have noticed that things are green when you're available to craft it, and things are red when you are not available. Unfortunately, like, everything here is green, but if I am able to find a crafting instance where I need more supplies in order to craft it, it will have a red text indicating that you cannot craft that. Also, with things like weapons or stuff that's just generally salvageable, like clothes or guns, you can click salvage as well and it will turn it into some component materials, in this case scrap metal. Though I do think it should require at least some confirmation behind that. You don't want to accidentally misclick salvage instead of drop and then turn your beloved Timberwolf into some metal scrap. So I do think that that should require some confirmation before you do that. Also, there were some changes to the weapon racks and trophy cases. Instead of pressing F on the weapon rack and dragging it out of the storage and into your inventory, you can now very quickly just click Control F on the storage and be able to instantly take it off the rack and put it in your inventory. If you do not have anything in your weapon slot, if you Control F, it'll instantly equip it as well. So if you have a nice armory room and somebody is raiding your base, you can very quickly just run in here, click Control F on the storage, and be able to get those weapons super quickly. It'll automatically equip them. You'll have all your attachments on there. Everything that you put on the gun when you put it on the weapon rack will become available to you right when you click Control F on that. So super cool, and that also applies to trophy cases as well. So definitely very cool. Also, the rarity colors that were applied to items have also been applied to vehicles as well. This police car right here is an uncommon police car, which is why it has a green color. This APC is pink for legendary. This race car is purple for epic. The off-roader being gray for common, and the black roadster being blue for rare. So just some more indication of how rare the vehicle is that you found it. Now obviously you know that this APC is freaking awesome, so it's kind of redundant for it to tell you that it's a legendary item, but once again it just kind of creates that sensation of, oh my gosh, I found something awesome, and I always like that. And the last major thing that was added in this week's update, and quite possibly one of the greatest things, is the new inventory menu for items that are nearby. Now this is obviously an inventory menu displaying all the items that are close to you in proximity on the ground so that you can easily drag it from the right side of the screen to your inventory on the left side of the screen. Now this is especially useful when it comes to looting corpses. So if you went and killed a dude and all of his gear just spewed all over the ground just like that, and you come up to him to go loot him, before you had to kind of peruse around here. You had to say, okay, I want that military vest, I want that military top, I want those pants. Oh crap, I picked up the Heartbreaker, I don't want the Heartbreaker. Well, you'd obviously want the Heartbreaker, but you know what I mean. You'd have to look through here and specifically pick and choose what you wanted out of it, and oftentimes you just give up and just spam F on there and then go through here and start removing the stuff that you didn't want. Now you can just click tab and it will immediately display everything that was nearby you. So then you can pick and choose from within this menu that I want this, and then you're done. You can go. You're done. You picked up all the stuff on the ground. You can move on your way. Tons and tons of different games have implemented this, and it is super, super useful, especially in Unturned. That pretty much wraps up all of the major things that were added in this week's update. In regards to some minor things that are also pretty cool, when you are dropping items, it now only drops the items in front of you, as you can see here. So when you're trying to get rid of stuff, like when you're building a base or something, it's super easy to just be able to just drop everything off over the edge of a bridge or whatever, so that it's out of sight and out of mind. Memory management and usage has been significantly improved on clients and servers, so the game as a whole hopefully will not be taking up as much of your RAM. The crafting menu now displays whether or not you need a campfire or some sort of heat source nearby, and what cooking level you need in order to craft the item. Also, the help command works in single player and as a client on a server. If you want to use it, you type in @help and then the name of a command, like give for example, and it will give you an instruction on how to use it. This before was only available from within the server console. Also in regards to commands, the @give, vehicle, teleport, and experience commands no longer need you to enter in your own Steam name in order to use it. Now you can just type in @teleport and Seattle, and it will bring you to Seattle. You no longer need to type in @teleport space MeLikeBigBoom /Seattle. None of that is required. And lastly, there were a lot of death barriers added inside of hollow objects, so douchebags trying to clip inside of those objects will now die once they get inside, like that. But anyway, that pretty much wraps up everything that was added in Unturned 3.14.10. Some awesome changes in this week's update. Let me know you guys' thoughts. There were still a few super minor improvements and tweaks and fixes that were added in this update that I didn't cover in this video, but if you guys would like to check out all of those, as always, I will put the full update post in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to rate, comment, subscribe, and do all that gibberish because we like Big Boom. Peace out.